Hello again. I'm Susan Pascoe and I'm the Interim Commissioner for the Taskforce for the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission. The purpose of this particular presentation is to give you an overview of the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission itself. In the May 2011 budget, the government announced that it was creating the ACNC for operation from the 1st of July 2012. It also announced that it was establishing a small task force to make sure that the ACNC is ready for operation on the 1st of July next year. This task force has 10 members, and if you want to read a little bit about them, you can go to the ACNC Task Force website, and there's a biography of each of them on the website. But essentially, they have the role to, first of all, make sure that the ACNC is ready to open its doors on the 1st of July, to develop an information portal that will be ready to be fully operational on the 1st of July 2013, to work with the sector and develop a reporting framework, both in relation to financial reporting and governance reporting, and also to work with the sector to develop an education strategy that would be fundamentally about the ways in which the ACNC will support the sector with guidance material and with information and advice. So they're the key functions of the ACNC into the future. In addition to the entity that will be the ACNC, the government announced the creation of a technical advisory board and also announced that from the 1st of July 2012 that Robert Fitzgerald AM will be the chair of that board. In the interim, Mr Fitzgerald has been appointed as a special advisor to the Minister on the reform agenda and also to the ACNC. And he has been working with both as we go through this early stage. I suppose if you look at the key functions of the ACNC once it's operational, its primary function will be to register charities. It will also operate an information portal, and that portal will have two key arms to it. One will be a fully searchable database that the public can use to get information on charities. It might be because they want to donate to a particular charity. It might be for wanting to know which charities are operating in its local area, whatever. But it will be designed so that the public can make fairly sophisticated searches of it. The other arm of that portal is going to be a transactional arm that will enable the charities themselves to have a one-stop shop with the regulator. In other words, they can enter the portal and they can request registration, they can request the application of available tax concessions, they can request an Australian business number and so on. So more to come really on what functions will be available there, but that's certainly an important element. And as I mentioned a little earlier, the newly created Commission will have a very important role in supporting the sector come to terms with its governance and financial reporting requirements, and so it will be providing guidance material and information and support. As the ACNC is underway, there's some important work happening within both the Department of the Treasury and the Australian Taxation Office. The Treasury are working to develop the Act for the ACNC as well as a separate piece of legislation to codify the definition of charity. And that work is underway, and the ACNC Task Force is contributing to that work. At the same time, the Australian Taxation Office is working to separate out the function that it has had over many years for designating charitable status and to pass that function over to the ACNC. So as you can imagine, there's a pretty high level of cooperation between both those sets of activities. In addition, there's going to be recruitment beginning probably initially from October this year and moving in tranches through to 2012, so that when the ACNC opens its doors, there'll be trained staff ready to operate the premises. Perhaps one final thing worth saying about the ACNC, it's been set up to be an independent statutory body. It will report to Parliament through the Minister, but it will have its separate appropriation as well. so that gives it both reporting and financial independence. It's been established so that it will take its back office services from the Australian Tax Office, so that you can imagine services such as some of the HR services, IT services, accommodation, those kind of services will be provided by the ATO. It's anticipated that there'll be memoranda of understanding between the ATO and the ACNC, so that we've got clear relationships between the two entities. And that, of course, is the situation that exists with other statutory bodies and government departments. So I can say, I think on behalf of the task force of the ACNC, that a lot of activity is underway to ensure that it's fully operational by the 1st of July next year. And we look forward to engaging you to make sure that it is a good servant of the sector and a good support to the sector as it strengthens its regulatory arrangements. Thank you and happy viewing.